Imagine walking into 2026 carrying a dream, a vision, or a calling, but everyone around you is louder than your progress. In a world that celebrates noise over substance, most people fail, not because they lack potential, but because they speak too soon, seek applause too early, and expose what isn't ready. This year, your power lies in silence, in discipline, and in building yourself quietly. The future will favor those who prepare while others perform, those who grow while others boast. Are you ready to stop talking and start becoming? Your breakthrough demands more action than announcement. Silence is not weakness, it is strategic preparation. Many people misunderstand silence and assume that if you are not talking, announcing, or defending yourself, then you are losing ground. In reality, silence is often the clearest sign that something serious is happening beneath the surface. Weak people make noise to feel relevant, but wise people go quiet to become effective. Silence creates space to think clearly, to plan deeply, to grow intentionally, and to correct errors without public pressure. When a person is constantly talking, explaining, or proving, they are often reacting rather than building. Silence protects focus. Every time you speak about your plans too early, you expose them to opinions, doubts, jealousy, and unnecessary spiritual and emotional interference. Not everyone who hears your vision is meant to help you carry it. Some people will weaken your confidence, others will compete with you, and some will secretly hope you fail. Strategic silence keeps your energy concentrated. It allows you to invest your strength in progress instead of arguments, validation, or defense. Growth demands attention, and attention cannot survive constant noise. Silence also accelerates maturity. When you stop talking, you start observing. You notice patterns, people, opportunities, and dangers you would have missed while trying to be heard. Many lessons in life are not taught through words, but through quiet reflection and experience. Silence forces you to confront yourself honestly, your weaknesses, your gaps, your laziness, your excuses. This self-awareness is painful, but it is necessary. People who avoid silence often do so because they don't want to face who they really are. Preparation happens best in quiet seasons. Before elevation comes isolation. Before visibility comes obscurity. Before influence comes discipline. Nothing valuable is built in a rush or in public display. Skills are refined in private. Character is tested when nobody is watching. Capacity is stretched in moments where applause is absent. Silence gives you permission to be a student again, to ask questions without shame, to practice without pressure, and to fail without being labeled. Silence is also a form of wisdom. It shows restraint, emotional intelligence, and confidence. When you know who you are becoming, you don't need to announce it. You allow time and results to speak on your behalf. People who talk too much often feel insecure about their progress, but those who are truly building understand that proof is stronger than promises. Silence is saying, watch, don't listen. In 2026, silence will separate the serious from the superficial. Those who choose quiet preparation over loud performance will emerge with substance, authority, and stability. Silence is not absence, it is alignment. It is the calm before impact, the womb before birth, the foundation before the structure. When the time comes to speak, your voice will carry weight because your silence first carried growth. Public noise without private growth leads to public shame, and this truth has destroyed more destinies than open opposition ever did. In a generation that celebrates visibility, people are pressured to show progress even when there is no substance behind it. Social approval has become a shortcut people use to feel accomplished, but applause cannot replace preparation. When someone speaks loudly about achievements they have not earned or announces levels they have not grown into, they invite exposure. Life has a way of demanding proof, and when proof is missing, embarrassment follows. Private growth is slow, uncomfortable, and often lonely, which is why many people avoid it. It requires discipline when nobody is watching, consistency without encouragement, and humility to admit that you are not yet ready. Public noise, on the other hand, is easier. It gives instant validation and temporary confidence. But this confidence is fragile because it is borrowed from opinions, not built from competence. The moment pressure increases, the weakness shows. What was praised in public becomes questioned in public, and the same crowd that applauded begins to doubt. Noise without growth creates unrealistic expectations. When you announce your plans, goals, or abilities too early, people begin to expect results on a timeline you may not be prepared to meet. This pressure forces many into shortcuts, compromises, or burnout. Some fake results to protect their image. Others quit entirely when they realize they cannot keep up with the story they told. Shame is not always about failure. Often it is about being exposed before maturity. Silence would have protected the process. Private growth builds confidence that is unshakable. When you have invested time in learning, practicing, and refining yourself away from public view, you don't fear scrutiny. You are not afraid of questions because you have answers. You are not threatened by competition because you understand your capacity. You don't rush to speak because you trust your preparation. This inner assurance cannot be manufactured by motivation or affirmation. It is the reward of disciplined development. History consistently shows that people who rise suddenly spend years preparing quietly. Their emergence looks fast only because their process was hidden. When noise comes before growth, the fall is usually just as loud. But when growth comes before noise, recognition becomes a natural outcome, not a desperate pursuit. Substance sustains visibility. Without it, exposure becomes a curse instead of a blessing. In 2026, wisdom will demand restraint. Not every idea needs an audience. Not every plan needs an announcement. Not every victory needs to be posted. Protect your becoming. Build in private so that when life puts you on a public stage, you are not trying to perform. You are simply revealing what has already been formed. Public shame is avoided not by luck but by patience, discipline, and the courage to grow quietly before you speak. Destiny is protected in secrecy before it is revealed in power, because anything valuable requires careful handling in its early stages. Just as a seed is hidden beneath the soil before it breaks through with strength, purpose is safest when it is concealed during development. Many people expose their destiny too early, not realizing that revelation without readiness creates vulnerability. What is meant to grow can be crushed when it is handled prematurely. Secrecy is not deception, it is preservation. Every calling, vision, or assignment goes through a fragile phase where it is more promise than proof. In that stage, it needs protection from doubt, criticism, misunderstanding, and spiritual resistance. When you share your vision with people who cannot see what you see, they may speak from their limitations, not from insight. Their words can weaken your confidence, slow your progress, or cause you to abandon what you were meant to build. Secrecy guards your faith when your results are not yet visible. Power is revealed only after capacity is formed. Exposure before preparation often leads to collapse. Many people pray for platforms, recognition, and influence without understanding the responsibility that comes with visibility. When destiny is revealed too early, it attracts attention you are not yet equipped to manage. Praise can intoxicate and criticism can destroy. Secrecy gives you time to develop emotional stability, wisdom, discipline, and resilience, so that when the spotlight comes, it does not consume you. Secrecy also refines intention. When nobody is watching, your motives are tested. Are you building for applause or for impact? Are you pursuing purpose or validation? Hidden seasons strip away the desire to impress and replace it with the hunger to be effective. What survives in secrecy is usually pure. What depends on attention often dies when attention is removed. Destiny that is shaped in private is anchored in conviction, not performance. There is also timing involved in destiny. Not every truth is meant to be spoken at once. Wisdom knows when to speak and when to stay silent. Revealing your plans too early can attract unnecessary competition and opposition. Some battles are not meant to be fought at the beginning. Secrecy allows momentum to build quietly until progress becomes undeniable. By the time people notice, it is already too established to be stopped. When destiny is finally revealed, it should appear as power, not potential. Power is the ability to stand, to produce results, and to withstand pressure. This level is not achieved through announcements, but through seasons of disciplined obedience, learning, and sacrifice. Those who understand this principle are not in a hurry to be seen. They are more interested in being ready. In 2026, those who respect secrecy will walk in strength. Their emergence will not be noisy or desperate. It will be solid, convincing, and impactful. What was hidden will speak for itself, not because it was advertised, but because it was protected long enough to mature into power. Over-explaining your plans invites unnecessary resistance, because information given at the wrong time becomes a weapon in the wrong hands. Many people think clarity requires disclosure, but wisdom understands that not everyone deserves access to your intentions. When you explain your plans too much, you open doors to opinions that were never requested and resistance that was never necessary. Every explanation creates a conversation, and not every conversation moves destiny forward. Some only slow it down. People process information through the lens of their own experiences, fears, and limitations. When you share a vision that is bigger than their understanding, they may respond with doubt disguised as concern. They may ask questions that are rooted in fear, not wisdom. Over time, these voices can plant seeds of hesitation in your mind. You begin to second guess yourself, not because the vision is wrong, but because you allowed it to be evaluated by people who lack the capacity to see it clearly. Over-explaining also weakens authority. When you constantly justify your decisions, you subconsciously communicate uncertainty. Confidence does not need excessive explanation. It needs alignment with purpose. Leaders who talk too much about where they are going often feel the need to convince others before they convince themselves. But when you are settled internally, you move with quiet confidence. Results speak more convincingly than words ever could. Resistance often increases with familiarity. The more people know about your plans, the more comfortable they feel criticizing them. What starts as curiosity can turn into comparison, competition, or subtle opposition. Some people resist not because your plan is wrong, but because your growth challenges their comfort. Over-explaining gives them time to prepare objections, distractions, or discouragement. Silence denies resistance the opportunity to organize. Another danger of over-explaining is premature accountability. When you announce your goals publicly, you place yourself under pressure to perform on a timeline that may not align with the process required for excellence. This pressure can push you into rushing, cutting corners, or abandoning important stages of growth. True progress is not linear, and explanations rarely leave room for adjustment. Silence gives you flexibility to evolve without embarrassment. There is also emotional leakage in over-explaining. Each explanation costs energy. Repeating your vision to multiple people drains passion and replaces excitement with fatigue. By the time it is time to act, you are tired from talking. Wise people conserve energy for execution, not narration. They understand that momentum is built through movement, not discussion. In 2026, restraint will be a form of intelligence. You do not owe everyone an explanation for your discipline, your focus, or your direction. Let your consistency answer questions. Let your progress silence doubts. When you stop over-explaining, you reduce resistance, protect your peace, and move faster. Not everything that is planned must be announced, and not everything that is silent is uncertain. Sometimes silence is the clearest sign that work is happening. Seasons of isolation are investments, not punishments, even though they often feel uncomfortable and misunderstood. Many people interpret isolation as rejection, delay, or failure, but in reality, isolation is frequently a strategic phase designed to prepare a person for weightier responsibility. When life reduces your circle, it is not always taking something from you. Sometimes it is creating space for growth that cannot happen in distraction. Isolation is not about being alone, it is about being focused. In isolation, distractions lose their power. Noise fades, comparisons stop, and the pressure to perform for others weakens. This is where clarity is formed. Without constant input from people's opinions and expectations, you begin to hear your own thoughts clearly. You discover what you truly value, what you are willing to sacrifice, and what must change. Isolation removes the safety net of external validation and forces internal alignment. This alignment becomes the foundation for stability in future success. Isolation is also where discipline is built. When nobody is watching, habits are revealed. You either become consistent or you become comfortable. There is no applause to motivate you, no crowd to impress, and no shortcuts to hide behind. This is why isolation feels demanding. It requires self-leadership, but this self-leadership is exactly what sustains people. When visibility eventually comes, those who avoid isolation often collapse under attention because they never learned how to govern themselves. Another purpose of isolation is refinement. Skills are sharpened in private, Character is corrected without public embarrassment. Weaknesses are exposed so they can be addressed before they become public liabilities. Isolation gives you the freedom to fail quietly, to learn slowly, and to rebuild without labels. What is refined in isolation emerges with excellence. What skips isolation often emerges fragile. Isolation also filters relationships. When your environment becomes quiet, you recognize who adds value and who only consumes energy. You learn discernment. You stop chasing approval and start honoring alignment. This discernment protects you in the future when access to you increases. Without the lessons of isolation, people often give their time, trust, and influence to the wrong individuals. In 2026, many will mistake isolation for being left behind. But those who understand will use it wisely. They will study more, practice more, reflect more, and grow deeper. They will resist the urge to rush back into visibility before capacity is formed. When their season changes, they will not need to adjust under pressure because isolation already shaped them. Isolation is not an absence of progress. It is progress in its purest form. It is where foundations are laid, strength is developed, and purpose is clarified. Those who treat isolation as an investment will emerge with depth, resilience, and authority. When the doors open and the lights turn on, they will not be overwhelmed because isolation already trained them to stand strong on their own. Skill, character, and capacity must grow before visibility because exposure magnifies whatever is already inside a person. Visibility does not create strength, it reveals it. When people pursue platforms without preparation, they are not elevated, they are exposed. Many failures that happen in public did not begin in public, they began with neglect in private. Growth is not optional if visibility is to be sustained. Skill is the first demand of visibility. Passion may open doors, but only competence keeps them open. In quiet seasons, skill is built through repetition, learning, correction, and patience. It is often boring and demanding, which is why many people skip it. They want recognition without mastery, but when pressure comes, talent without training collapses. Skill gives confidence, precision, and consistency. It allows you to deliver value instead of excuses when expectations rise. Character is even more critical than skill. Skill determines what you can do, but character determines how long you can do it. Visibility tests integrity, humility, self-control, and responsibility. Without character, success becomes dangerous. Pride grows, discipline weakens, and small compromises turn into major failures. Character is not formed in applause. It is formed in obedience, restraint, and accountability when no one is watching. Private choices eventually become public consequences. Capacity determines how much responsibility you can carry without breaking. Many people fail not because they are unqualified, but because they are overloaded. Capacity includes emotional strength, mental resilience, time management, leadership ability, and spiritual stability. Visibility increases demand. More people need you, criticize you, depend on you, and misunderstand you. Without capacity, stress becomes destructive. You react instead of respond. You burn out instead of building. Capacity is stretched gradually, not instantly. When skill, character, and capacity are built before visibility, success becomes sustainable. You are not shocked by pressure because you train for it. You are not seduced by praise because you know your weaknesses. You are not crushed by criticism because your identity is anchored internally. Visibility then becomes a tool for impact, not a trap for ego. The danger of premature visibility is that it freezes growth. Once people praise you at a certain level, you may stop developing beyond it. Comfort replaces hunger. Improvement slows because there is no incentive to go deeper. This is why some people peak early and decline publicly. They were seen before they were solid. In 2026, wisdom will favor those who delay exposure until maturity is evident. Let your growth outpace your announcement. Let your preparation exceed your publicity. When visibility finally comes, it should feel familiar, not frightening. Skill will handle the work. Character will handle the pressure, and capacity will handle the weight. Visibility should not be something you survive. It should be something you steward. Not everyone clapping for you is assigned to your future. And understanding this truth is essential for longevity and clarity. Applause can be deceptive. People may celebrate your progress, admire your confidence, or enjoy the benefits of your energy, yet have no intention of walking with you through the cost of growth. Approval does not equal alignment. Many people support what you represent, not who you are becoming. Some people clap because you entertain them, not because they believe in your purpose. Others clap because your rise benefits them temporarily. When circumstances change, their enthusiasm fades. If you mistake applause for commitment, you will build expectations that cannot be sustained. This leads to disappointment, bitterness, and unnecessary emotional strain. Wisdom learns to separate encouragement from assignment. Assignment is revealed through consistency, not excitement. And people assigned to your future may not always be loud, but they are present. They stand with you in private, not just celebrate you in public. They challenge you when you are wrong, pray for you when you are weak, and stay when there is nothing to gain. Applause fades when pressure comes, but alignment remains. Another danger of trusting applause is influence. When you allow clapping voices to shape your decisions, you begin to drift from purpose. You may start making choices to please people rather than to obey conviction. This is how many lose direction. They adjust their pace, message, and standards to maintain approval. What begins as motivation slowly becomes manipulation. Applause becomes a leash instead of encouragement. Not everyone who celebrates your success wants to see you grow beyond a certain level. Some are comfortable clapping as long as you do not outgrow them. When your development challenges their position, insecurity replaces support. They may subtly discourage you, compete with you, or withdraw. This shift is confusing if you were emotionally dependent on their applause. Discernment protects you from internalizing their reactions. People assigned to your future often appear during your quiet seasons. They connect with your values, not your visibility. They are drawn to substance, not performance. These relationships are built on trust, shared vision, and mutual growth. They may be few, but they are foundational. A small circle of aligned people is more powerful than a large crowd of spectators. In 2026, emotional intelligence will be critical. Learn to appreciate applause without feeding on it. Receive encouragement without depending on it. Celebrate support, but anchor yourself in purpose. When you stop chasing claps, you move with freedom. You are no longer pressured to impress or perform. Your future will be shaped by those who walk with you when the noise dies down. Applause is seasonal, but assignment is permanent. Discern the difference early, and you will move forward without confusion, distraction, or regret. 2026 rewards builders, not talkers, because results are never created by announcements, promises, or intentions alone. Many people mistake visibility for progress, thinking that telling others about their goals or posting updates on achievements is equivalent to building. Reality is harsher. Life honors preparation, consistency, and the ability to execute over noise. Talking creates awareness, but building creates authority. Those who focus on construction rather than conversation develop momentum quietly, and when the time comes to reveal their work, it speaks louder than any speech ever could. Builders understand the value of patience. They know that every step, no matter how small, accumulates into something greater over time. While talkers are concerned with recognition, applause, or validation, builders invest in systems, skills, and processes that guarantee growth. This is why many people are frustrated by 2026's pace. They see others talking confidently about dreams, but not achieving them, while quietly building individuals surpass them without fanfare. Time always separates substance from pretense. Consistency is another key factor. Builders show up even when motivation is low, even when results are invisible. Talkers often shine in the spotlight temporarily, but they collapse when no one is watching. Builders understand that progress requires disciplined repetition, the courage to fail privately, and the resilience to continue regardless of immediate reward. This persistence creates depth that public attention cannot match, giving builders an edge over those who rely on appearances. Builders also embrace discomfort, knowing that growth is forged in struggle. Talkers avoid the hard work, seeking quick validation, shortcuts, or social approval. Builders, however, endure isolation, correct mistakes, and refine skills without needing recognition. Every difficult task is an investment in capacity. Every failure is a lesson. Every quiet season strengthens their ability to handle the challenges that visibility inevitably brings. By the time they emerge publicly, they are prepared for impact, criticism, and responsibility. Another critical advantage builders have is strategic timing. They understand that results must precede announcements. They reveal their work at the right moment so that it lands with credibility, authority, and influence. Talkers often announce too early, exposing weaknesses and inviting unnecessary opposition. Builders avoid this trap. Their restraint becomes their power, and their preparation ensures that when they are noticed, it is not by chance but by design. In 2026, society will continue to glorify talkers, but real progress will always favor those who act. Builders focus on growth that is measurable, sustainable, and transferable, while talkers often rely on temporary admiration. Builders attract opportunity naturally because their competence, character, and capacity are evident. Talkers, on the other hand, are left scrambling when applause fades and expectations remain unmet. Ultimately, 2026 will honor work, not words. Builders rise because they do what others only promise. They stay focused while distractions surround them. They let results validate their effort. Those who are committed to constructing themselves, refining their skills, and developing their character in quiet will see their influence, success, and legacy multiply. The world may cheer talkers momentarily, but it always rewards builders permanently. As 2026 unfolds, remember this: your breakthrough will not come from who applauds you, who notices you, or who talks about you. It will come from what you quietly build when nobody is watching. Stop seeking validation, stop rushing visibility, and stop explaining what isn't ready. Focus on skill, character, and capacity. Guard your vision, embrace discipline, and invest in your growth. When the time is right, your results will speak louder than words ever could. The world will see your rise, not because you announced it, but because you prepared for it in silence, strength, and wisdom.